Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Red Dead Online and we're going to be talking about the 5 best fishing spots in Red Dead Online. Now obviously it should be stated that at least some of this video is going to be pretty subjective in nature. It's just going to come down to my personal taste. So for example, I don't like fishing in rivers. I do it like if there's a specific challenge where I need to. But other than that, I'm more of a lake fisherman. So it should go without saying that all 5 of these spots are going to be lakes. And it's not going to be just about like the variety or where it's easiest to catch fish or something. A lot of it has to do with how pretty I find the area or how convenient the spot is, or just to a certain extent the variety of fish. That does come into at least some account. So yeah, with all that in mind, we're going to be going through the top 5 in my opinion. So if at any point in the video you find yourself enjoying it or finding it useful or whatever, entertaining, definitely leave a like on the video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because that way you'll stay up to date on everything I release on the channel, which is basically a video every single day, and I also stream, and you'll also be helping the channel grow, which is very, very useful. Or at least useful to me. But with all that in mind, let's just start it off. So at number 5, we have Lake Don Julio, which is here in New Austin. It's just south of Armadillo. And it's basically, if I'm going to be fishing, I'm in New Austin and I want to do some fishing, I'm going to go here because it's the only spot over here I really like. Now, the San Luis River is one of the few rivers in the game that's actually big enough so that fishing in it is kind of just like fishing in a lake. So yes, you can fish there, but if I'm going to be fishing over here, I like going to Lake Don Julio. And now, obviously, there's going to be all your standard lake fish, rock bass, bluegills. Sometimes you'll get smallmouth bass or largemouth bass. Every once in a while, muskies or northerns can spawn in places like this. Not so much northern pikes because, you know, they're more in the northern part of the map. But, you know, it's going to have all your standard lake fish. So the best lures to use here are going to be your special spinner, special lake lure, or regular lake lure. Or you can use any of the live bait or the food baits, and they're going to work pretty well here in the river. You'll be able to catch something, except for crawfish. I don't think you can catch anything with crawfish here. But there's going to be, you know, it's your pretty standard lake stuff. I like coming here specifically for bluegill and rock bass and pickerel to a certain extent, because it's just a really good lake for catching a lot of them in, and you don't have a lot of the bigger stuff, so there's higher percentages of the small fish, and you're less likely to accidentally catch something you don't want to catch. So it's a good spot. I really like the area. I think it's pretty. You can see we got some rainbows off in the distance, even a double rainbow right there. Look at that. But it's a nice spot. Obviously, it's a little foggy right now, but you've got some pretty steep surrounds, the red contrast against it. So if you're someone who just likes a pretty spot to fish, then this is definitely a good spot for that. Like I said, it's my number 1 spot if I want to catch bluegill, because you catch tons of them here. But with all that in mind, that's number 5. Let's move on to the 4th best spot. All right, and so at number 4, we have Cattail Pond, which, as you can see, is a pretty small spot, but it's one that I definitely enjoy. For one thing, this is one of the prettiest spots in the map. You can see we've got mountains in the background. We've got a decent scattering of coniferous trees around the area. It reminds me of home. I think that's probably the biggest reason I like the spot. Another reason being it's the best perch fishing spot. Now, obviously, it's not the only place you can catch perch, but it's one of the best spots because it's a nice small lake. There's a decent amount of perch in the lake, and, you know, it's just a nice fishing spot. So it's definitely useful. I can show you where it is on the map here. So here's Cattail Pond. If you zoom out, you can see the Grizzlies West is just up here. It's basically in a triangle between Valentine and Strawberry, but, you know, I just head to Valentine and then cross the river and it's right here. So it's a very small spot, but it's definitely one that I enjoy. Like I said, it's very pretty. It's got a real high, I mean, you can catch northern here, you can catch pickerel, you can catch perch, you can catch rock bass, you can catch most of your standard lake fish here. But what I normally come here for is perch. So if I just want some perch for something, or specifically it's usually daily challenges, this is where I'll come. I'll toss some bread on the line and I'll fish for some perch. And of course you'll risk catching rock bass and pickerel also, but you know, it's not like that hurts. But yeah, I just really like this spot. I think it's definitely an overlooked spot because it's so small, but it's very pretty and it's a very good spot. So that is number 4. Let's move on to number 3. And so here at number 3, we've got another one of the best spots. That's going to be a real consistent thing on this list, is because if we're picking the prettiest spots on the map, a lot of them are just going to be the many lakes scattered around the map. So here at number 3, we have Owanjila, and it's over here in West Elizabeth. All you have to go do is go a little bit west of Strawberry, and it's here. It's a decent sized lake. It's not very far from a town, so it's real convenient. And it's also got a ton of fish in it. Now, I really like this one for a lot of reasons. Again, it's going to have your standard lake fish. I actually caught trout here once, which was different because normally I don't catch a lot of trout in lakes. But you catch bass, you'll catch northerns, you'll catch pickerel, bluegills, rock bass, perch sometimes. There's a lot of different fish you'll catch here. You might catch salmon here. I don't know. I can't remember for sure if I've caught sockeye salmon here ever, but it's definitely got a lot of variety, and it's just an awesome lake. It's very pretty. I like to fish. I mean, if you're fishing here, worms are great. All of your food baits are going to be great, so your bread and your cheese and stuff. And then obviously lake lures, special lake lures, and special spinners are all going to be good picks. There I just saw a muskie jump out of the water. So obviously there's quite a few really, really easy fish to catch here, I guess, as you can catch in any lake, but it's also just such a pretty and relaxing spot. It's the landscape of West Elizabeth is definitely my favorite in the map. I mean, I really like the Heartlands, but West Elizabeth looks awesome with all the Rocky Mountains and the tall trees and everything. It just looks awesome. So yeah, the number 3 spot is Owanjila. I love it. It's a relaxing place to hang out. So if you like nature and like being in it here in Red Dead Online, then this is an excellent spot. But let's move on to number 2. So then at number 2 we have one that used to be my absolute favorite. It's still obviously one that I love a lot because it took the number 2 spot, but it used to be my absolute favorite, and it's O'Creagh's Run. So if we look at the map, it's right here. It's a decent sized lake in the Heartland. So if you're at Emerald Station, you just head straight north, and it's an excellent fishing spot. For one thing, you can catch quite a few different varieties of fish here. I like to come here to fish for salmon, but there's also northerns, there's bass, there's bluegills, there's pickerel, there's perch, most of your standard lake stuff. Here I like to use the special spinner because I get the best variety of larger fish that way, but you can use worms, your food baits, your lake lure, your special lake lure. No matter what you use, it's going to be a great fishing spot. I definitely love the scenery here. Again, it fits in with the theme of the spots I've been showing already. We've got your mountains, your trees. It's kind of weird to catch a pickerel with a spinner. That's a little strange. Fishing has been a little bit weird today, though. But it's just such a beautiful spot. Plus, it reminds me of from the single-player story when you're playing as Arthur. You get to do the stranger missions with the veteran that lives here in the hut. And I always really liked those missions. So there's a lot of good memories of the spot. Plus, it's a beautiful spot with great fishing. Plus, whenever there's a challenge for catch the biggest fish or anything like that, or if it's just a daily challenge for catching like a bunch of different types of fish or whatever it may be, this is usually the place I go because I spend most of my time in the Heartlands, like down by Emerald Station, and so it's not very far away just to run up to O'Creagh's Run. And like I said, it's just so pretty. It's a very peaceful spot. The only danger you have here is every once in a while you might get mauled by a bear, but I think that even adds to how much I like the spot. There's not usually a lot of foot traffic coming through here, so you don't get a lot of other players running into you and ruining your fishing. And you can catch all sorts of different fish. You can catch lots of small fish like bluegills and rock bass and pickerel, or you can catch big bass, or big fish like salmon, or even, as you can see here, I think I'm pulling in a northern. I can't quite tell. I'll tell you when I get it. But it's up until quite recently, it was my absolute favorite fishing spot. What do we got here? A 14-pound, 11-ounce muskie. So yeah, definitely a great spot. I love it a lot. It's beautiful. The fishing is great. And it's just super peaceful. Recently, it was replaced by the number 1 spot on this list. So let's go check that out. So then finally, at the number 1 spot, we have the Wapiti Indian Reservation Flowage. And I absolutely love this spot. And now, as I said, it recently took the number 1 spot on my list. It used to be O'Creagh's Run, but now this is the number 1. And it's not because I had forgotten it. It's just that, well, I mean, to a certain extent, I had forgotten this spot. Because if you look on the map, you may have never fished here because it is all the way up in the north of Ambarino here. And there's not a ton of reasons to come here in Red Dead Online. If you think about it, there's nothing that really brings you up to this part of the map. So I think a lot of people forget about this spot, but in my opinion, it is the most beautiful, most relaxing, most peaceful fishing spot in the entire map. And on top of that, it's got all your lake fish and stuff. So like all of the other spots that I've listed so far, you can catch, most of your really good fish, your bluegills, your bass, I think you can catch salmon up here. You can catch muskies up here. There's pickerel, there's perch. The fishing lures that you're going to use up here are going to be the special lake lure, the special spinner, worms, cheese, bread, basically almost anything you can catch something. See, look at that muskie jumping out of the water. It's such a pretty spot. Unlike the other spots I showed you where you get the more gray standard look of the mountains, which I like, at this spot you've got this kind of red granite look, which that really reminds me of home. Because in Wisconsin here, central to northern Wisconsin, red granite bluffs are some of the, coolest things that we've got around here. Hey, look at that. I finally caught a perch. Love perch. It's actually one of the tastiest fish in real life. If you're rating fish, perch is probably the best, but the problem with perch is it's, small, so it's usually kind of more of a pain in the ass to catch a bunch of perch and cook them up, and then followed closely by walleye. But walleye is obviously much larger, so it's easier to eat. But I digress. I really, really love this spot. I think a lot of people overlook it just because there's not many reasons to come up here, but it's, in my opinion, the prettiest or most beautiful or whatever you want to call it nature spot on the map, and the fishing here is great. So that is my list of top 5 best fishing spots. Like I said at the beginning, this is obviously a pretty subjective video. There may be someone watching who really likes fishing in the swamp or really likes fishing in rivers. That is not me in this game. I enjoy fishing as a mini game in Red Dead Online, but the area is more important than almost anything else. Yes, if you want to go for just total weight, then the swamp is probably your best bet. Gar and catfish and sturgeons over in the swamp. So if you're going just for size or something, then yeah, those are better spots. But if you're going for the whole experience, the ambiance, the beauty, and the variety, then these spots that I showed you are the best fishing spots in the game. So if you like this video, definitely show me by leaving a like on it. It helps me out a ton in the algorithm and tells me that you like the content, so I'm likely to make more. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or maybe you disagree with some of these picks, or you think that there's prettier spots than this, or maybe you just want to tell me which one of these spots is your favorite, then let me know any of that down in the comment section below so you can get the discussion started and we can have some good, peaceful fishing conversations going on. Or maybe you just want to disagree with me about the tastiest type of fish in real life. And lastly, if you like this content and you haven't already subscribed, definitely subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. It's a great way for you to stay up to date on everything I upload on a daily basis, and if you like this content, you're probably going to like that because it's all pretty consistent. But with all that in mind, thanks a ton for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, but we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.